I'll just give a brief intro to Caleb before you just go nuts on second applause. I don't know if I've used this terminology to introduce people before, but I like the phrase exudes legitness. Like I have a small category of people that like exude legitness, like it just leaks out of his pores. Legitness. Caleb is a biology major, is a cub group leader, he lives in Hendricks, all sorts of stuff. If he wasn't any of that, he would still be an enormous blessing to the people who know him and the people who have the privilege and the pleasure of running into him every day, every week, once a month, whenever. It's a privilege to have him here tonight. A round of applause for Caleb Fleming, number 2.
How's the sound here? Is this okay? Is that good? Okay. Well, thank you so much for letting me just be here. I'm really, really honored to be here. Thank you, Blake. I hope I'm half of that. And Garrett also. I think my excitement for being here is only surpassed by my terror of being in front of you, which is really pretty exciting because I'm talking about peace and joy in your soul. So that's really and hopefully it's okay. Hopefully you get a little bit from it. My really desire for all of this is that a couple of you will go away feeling refreshed in your spirit, that you'll maybe want to spend a little more time in prayer, maybe a little more time in the Word, and it'll be something that you'll remember for a couple days that will get you into better habits. So the reason I chose peace is because I think peace is really important. And it was really funny to me that I chose this the other day because I get really involved in stuff that I do. Like I feel like I'm sort of obsessive about a lot of stuff. And I had this track meet on Saturday, and it was terrible, like the last couple track meets were for me. And it was one of those things where I'm convincing myself, I'm talking to myself in my head after it, and I'm going, you're a failure. You are a failure in life. And it's one of those times where I can't say to myself, no, you're not. You're not a failure. Look it, you've done well at these other things. Because it's nothing that my mind can grab onto. Every time I try to reach for something like school, I've done okay in school. It doesn't hold. It doesn't hold water. When I try to hold something, think of something like sports, maybe in the past, it doesn't add up. All of them are like trying to grab onto a greased rope or something, and you can't do it. It's like trying to climb a greased pole. But when I remembered, I tried it once and I failed. But when I remembered that the love that God has for me, that's truly where my being comes from, where my rest and my contentment, then there was just this satisfaction. It wasn't like I was trying to climb, it's like something grabbed me. Like something just grabbed my soul and said, I'm actually going to pull you a little bit now. And it was really neat, because it was one of those times where you can't fake it. I can't say that I should have peace and have it. It either is there or it's not. So, peace and joy. Joy is the other one. The emphasis tonight is going to be on peace. Hopefully, peace feels like it's really slow, and joy feels like it's really quick, because that's sort of how I view the two, as a prolonged sense of peace, followed by moments of joy in varying degrees. And joy, so what is joy? Joy I'm defining in general sense as contentment or joy would be the happiness and the delight of your soul, kind of like the laughter of your soul. And peace I see as the contentment of your soul. And why do we want to have peace? In general, because I think peace is better than turmoil of your soul. In Ecclesiastes, a book I do not claim to understand by any means whatsoever, but in Ecclesiastes, was it? I don't even think it's Ecclesiastes. It is. Sorry. Solomon says, wisdom is better than folly, as light is better than dark, because the man who has wisdom has eyes to see where he's going. And that I feel like is sort of like peace, because peace takes all of these different tuggings and pressures that we feel in our lives, either placed on us by our friends or our family, or that we feel like are pressures that we have to mount up to, and peace allows them to maybe not be completely severed, like we're doing, maybe not doing less, but it funnels them, it channels them in the right direction, it refocuses them on Christ, and I think that's very important. And joy, on the other hand, I feel like is in a way the reward of a peaceful spirit. If I don't have a peaceful spirit, I believe it is very difficult to have joy, because joy for me flows out of a peaceful spirit, and when I don't have a peaceful spirit, I usually find joy to be a fairly scarce commodity. So, peace, what it's not, that was the intro. Done with the intro. What peace is not is convincing yourself. I touched on it, but what peace is not is just telling yourself that you're fine. It's not simply saying that I'm doing okay, that things are fine, I'm not going to look at the dark side of things. But peace is a real thing. It is real and it is tangible almost. The analogy that I drew of peace and turmoil, because that's a lot of times where we think of peace, is you're out on a boat, ship, really. You're out on a ship, and it's dark, and it's the high seas, and there's a storm going on. And on this ship, it just feels like the ship is going to be torn apart by the wind and the waves. And everybody on this ship is in a sense of chaos. They're tying ropes around their waist to the mast because they're scared they're going to get washed over. And you're looking around and you're feeling this, and you're feeling this excitement and this terror because you're about to be ended. You know the ship and the waves are going to just take you down. But then you look and you see your captain who's at the wheel of the ship, and he's looking out into the storm, and it's this amazing sense of contentment. Maybe not joy, but he has this smirk in the corner of his mouth. And after you see that, and you see him, and you know that my captain has looked into 1,000 storms before, and this one's no different than any others, then all of a sudden you feel like you're okay. And that's a lot how I feel like peace is, where all of a sudden you don't know that you're better, but then when you look to Christ, things just seem to be better. You go about your work in the midst of this storm, and it's not so bad, and soon you find that day breaks, and it's okay. The second way that I see peace coming is in knowledge that reaches your heart. And a lot of times, it's knowledge that once was in your heart, and you found that really moved you, but then slowly that knowledge simply moved to your head, and it lost its power. So bringing that knowledge back down from your head and into your heart, and the way that I see that really happening a lot is in the scripture. When I read something in the scripture and I really think about it and meditate on it, and for me, the way I meditate on stuff is trying to memorize it. And I haven't done it for a while because I've gotten lazy. I'm a senior now. But when I was younger, when I was like a junior in high school, I just loved memorizing stuff. So I'm gonna say something for you, and if I get lost in the midst of it, I'm gonna stop saying it. But I'm gonna say for you Isaiah 55, and hopefully it'll bring to you a sense of peace and joy that it does to me when I think about it.